Kar Kadosh Boker or Masechet Menahot Daf Yomi Daf Pei Daled Amud Aleph 8481 says the Gemara. Okay, the Gemara is talking about over here. We were talking about as follows. We're talking about that there's no machloket only to do with Chadash. So he says, Aval be tvua min haaretz, but to do with tvua that is coming min haaretz, lo pligi, there's no machloket. The omer ushte alechem me'eretz in michutz haaretz lo, which means the korban haomer and the shte alechem is only going to be brought from, right, Eretz Yisrael and not from chutz haaretz. So says the Gemara, Keman, who does this go like? So the lo kaitana, not like this Tanya. The Tanya was we learned to Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda comes and he says, Omer ba mechutz haaretz, the Omer could come from chutz haaretz. Umani mekayem, so what am I going to be mekayem ki tavo laaretz? Shelo nitchayvu beomer kodem shnichdasu laaretz. They're not going to be mechayev, right, in the korban haomer before coming into Eretz Yisrael. So he says, "V'kasav al chadash bechutz haaretz lav doraita." He says, what does he hold the chadash in chutz haaretz is doraita, right? Which means that we know, right? We know that there is going to be a concept of chadash in chutz haaretz, right? And that's how we paskin as well. Meaning Maran, if you remember the Sfaradim, Maran goes stringent. There's chadash also in chutz haaretz, plus chadash even if it belongs to a goy. So since Maran holds both of them lechumra, that he holds that the mamash is doraita and everything, there's nothing to talk about. So that's why for Sfaradim, that's why chadash and yashan is so makpid or makpidim so much, because mamash, it's there's nothing really what to rely on. So he says, "Mimoshevotechem, kol makom she'atem yoshvim, mashma." It's any place where you're going to be living, and not only in Eretz Yisrael. And when it says ki tavou, we're talking about zman biyahi. Vekevan doraita. So since it's going to be a sur chadash mina Torah, right? So it's going to be even in chutz haaretz, akruvena mikavin. So therefore you could even bring it. So Tran Hatam. So we came and we brought, right, a Mishnah. We learned in a Mishnah in Shekalim, where it says as follows: Shomere sefichim. We're talking about Shomere Sifichim. So he says, Beshvi'it, notlin scharam mitrumat alishka. So they're allowed to come and take their salary from the Trumat Alishka. Remember, Trumat Alishka is when they give the shekalim to the Bet HaMikdash, so they could take their salary from there. Rami le Rami Mercham al Rav Chasta. So ask Rami Mercham al Rav Chasta. Tanam we learned in the Mishnah. Shomre Sfichim Shvi'it notlin scharam mitrumat alishka. The ones which are watching over the Gidulim during the year of the Shemitah, so they're going to take their salary from the Bet HaMikdash. Well, meaning we have a contradiction leochla. When it says Vayita Shabbat Aretz Lachem leochla velo lisrefa, we're talking about the kometz of the Minchat HaOmer was mutar on the Mizbeach. So therefore, how is it mutar to do that if it's coming from Shavit? So Amalei comes and he says, Rachman Amalecha ledorotechem. If the Torah always tells you that the Korban HaOmer is chukat olam ledorotechem, you're going to tell me that we're going to stop during the year of Shemitah? You can't stop. It's for generations. So Amalei, he tells him, no. Omika mina, I never said to be mvatel. Leiti midishtaka, just bring it from last year's. Right? Meaning, during the year of the Shemitah, bring it from the year which is preceding. Because you're not going to bring it from the year of Shemitah. Meaning, I never said, we thought, we had a Havamina, that Kiru, we're not going to bring it at all. It says, Ledorotechem. Ledorotechem is for all generations. You can't not bring it. It's all of the Dorot you have to do it. So you told him, I never told you not to bring it at all. You could bring it. But what? You just bring it from last year. That's it. You're not going to bring it from this year. So says the Gemara, Ba'ina Carmel veleka. You need Carmel, which is written in the Torah, right? You remember that we brought this concept of Carmel, which was that it had to be Rach and Mal. You remember Carmel is really bad. You have to move around the letters, and it becomes Rach instead of Kar, Rach, and Mal. So Rach has to be soft. If it's from last year, it's not soft. It gets hardened. So Amakra, Carmel takriv ba'inan Carmel bishat akrava veleka. You need during the time of akrava, you don't have it. So Itmar, okay?
Isn't it better to be like dry to it would be faster to cry?
Itmar, it was stated. Rabbi Yochanan says Carmel takriv. Rabbi Lazar omer Reshit ketzirechem. Reshit ketzirecha velo sof ketzirecha. When it says Reshit ketzirechem, it means the beginning, right? Which is the tvuah, right? Which right now you're reaping, and not the end of the tvuah. So Motiv Rabba comes and he asks, so where's it coming from? From the Seorim. Remember, the Korban HaOmer was Seorim. Shte Alechem was Chitim. Okay, barley, and the other one was from wheat. So אתה אומר מן השעורים, maybe it's going to be from wheat. רבי אליעזר אומר נאמר אביב במצרים, it says אביב במצרים, and it says אביב לדורות. Just like the אביב which is going to be in מצרים was שעורים, because it says כי השעורים, right, אביב, right, it's talking about over there שעורים, barley. So to אביב here is talking about for the barley. רבי עקיבא אומר, מצינו יחיד שמביא חובתו מן החיטין, מביא חובתו מן השעורים. We found by a yachid that he's going to bring a mincha from the chitin and also a mincha from the seorim. Yeah, he says the menahot, some of them come from the chitim, some of them come from the seorim. So he comes and he says like this. He says, right, this mincha is coming from the mizolev yored is coming from the solid chitim. Okay, but then there's going to be other ones which are coming. Minchat Kenaot. Minchat Kenaot is from Seorim. You remember the Minchat Kenaot was a sota. Why? Because she did an action like an animal. So therefore she brings Seorim barley, not from wheat. But the regular Korban Olev Yored, which means goes up and down, meaning according to the sin, right? If it's a sin that he is Chayav Chatat, if he's rich, right? So therefore sometimes you have to bring a Chatat Kivua. Chatat Kivua doesn't matter what he is, rich, poor, that, it's always a Chatat. Sometimes it's a chatat olev yored. Olev yored means depends upon his stature in the society. What does he bring? If he's rich, he brings an animal. If he's poor, he brings a bird. And if he's mamash poor, mamash solid. Yeah, that's what he's going to bring. So therefore, he comes and he says, so we found the chova from the yachid, whether it's from the chitin, whether from the seurim. Ve'af tzibur, also tzibur, mevi chovato min hachitin min seurim. So if you're going to tell me it comes from the chitin, there's never a tzibur that brings seurim. Meaning we always need that there should be a korban yachid mina chitin, korban yachid mina seorim. So korban yachid mina chitin is regular korban mincha which is minchat chote, and if it's going to be minchat kenaot, it's barley. So he says also minchat zibur. You're going to bring the shtei alechem, which is wheat, and then you're going to bring the korban omer, which is seorim, barley. Tavar acher, another explanation. If you're going to tell me Omer bar minachitin that the korban omer comes from the wheat, and shtei alechem bikurim, so then the shtei alechem cannot be called bikurim because you already brought one beforehand. So it's not the first ones. In order for it to be new, it has to be that it's the first time. So therefore, the seorim I already brought. When was that? For the korban omer. And now the first time I'm going to bring the by Shavuot is the shtei alechem, which is going to be the bikurim. Elma mishum bikurim tiyufta. So therefore, it's going to be a question, right, against what we just said about the Karmel Takrif. So he says, Tznan hatam. We learned over there in the Mishnah, en mevim bikurim chutz mishivat aminim. Bikurim only comes from the 7 species that Eretz Yisrael was praised from. Velo, and not from, right, Peidalad Umbet, 84b, mitmarim shebearim, from the dates in the mountains, velo mi perot shebe'amakim, or the fruit, or the grains in the amakim, which are not the best. So Amarula Ula says, if you did bring it, it's not going to be holy at all. So Yativ Rabba V'Kamar L'Shmaita Eitvei Rabbi Acha Bar Abba L'Rabba Asa Rabbi Acha Bar Abba to Rabba Korban Reshit Shiter Reshit L'Chol Menachot. It has to be the beginning of all the Menachot. V'chen Hu Omer, and also says V'akrivechem Mincha Chadasha LaHashem Mishavuotechem. En li ela chadasha shel chitim. That's only going to be from the chitim. Chadasha min haseorim minai. How do we know from the chadasha from the seorim also? Tamonomar chadasha. It says twice chadasha. Imeno inyan le chadasha shel chitin. If you don't need it for the chitin, put it chadasha for the seorim. Uminai sheteh kodem el bikurim. How do we know that the shtei alechem should be before the bikurim? Right, that means you only bring the bikurim for the shtei alechem. Tamonomar v'chag shavuot taseh lecha bikurei ketzir chitim. We just read this. V'chag shavuot taseh lecha bikurei ketzir chitim. What does that mean? The shtei alechem of the shavuot is kodmot to the bikurei chitim. Ve'en li ala bikurei ketzir chitim. Ketzir seorim minayin. How do we know ketzir seorim also? Tamonomar v'chag katzir. What does it mean chag katzir? Bikurei mazeh sheteh zabasadeh. En li ela shetizra. Alu me'alehem. I don't know if it already grows and I didn't actually plant it. Tamonomar basadeh. Right? Ve'en li ela basadeh. Minan lerabot afilu bagag. Meaning, even if it's going to be, sometimes you have ruins that there they start growing all the, like wheat and barley. It starts growing all these things because it's in the ruins. Nobody's using it. Nobody's doing anything with it. So Tamolumar bikure kol asher be'artzam. So uminayin sheteh kodem el nesachim. How do we know that the minchat shtei alechem comes before the nesachim, the wine libations upirot ilan? Just like over there, it's nisachim upirot ilan. So to here, we're talking about nisachim and perot hailan. Katani miha, we did learn those shebagag, shebechurba, shebeatzit, v'shbetzivina. What does that mean? Bagag, the churba, the atzitz, and the svina. And the seifa atal menachot. The seifa is talking about menachot. So matkifla Ravada Barava asks Ravada Barava, Yihach if so, hainu dichtiv. That's what it means. Kol torbe v'techa yochaloto. V'im menachot. Now, if you're going to tell me we're talking about menachot, lezichei chiyuna or the mitachlan, it's only going to be the zecharim. You remember the male kohanim, zichrei chiyuna, the male kohanim only, the zachar. So Amar Rav Masechet says trek k'tive. There's two different psukim. It says lecha yeh, uchtiv, and it's written kol tov v'decha yochalato. Anybody that's tahor could eat it. Hakeitzad, how does that work? Kam bikurim, kam menachot. If it's going to be bikurim, anybody could eat it. Muturim achila lechol bnei beto shel kohen. Here, the menachot, it's only the zichrei chiyuna. So bikurim could be eaten by any family member of the kohen, even women, if you have. But the menachot, only the males. Okay. Another answer, Rav Ashi Amar. Kulem b'menachot v'seifa dikran atan lechmet todah. Kol pasuk, the entire pasuk is talking about menachot, and the end of the pasuk is talking about the lechmet todah. And it's a plukta Rabbi Yochanan Amar Yavi lo kidesh. If you did bring the tmanim, right, or the fruits from the mamakim, from the bikurim, it's not holy. And says it is holy. It's like an animal which was already like sanctified as a korban. So Bishlama I understand he says the reasoning, but according to Rabbi Yochanan, why? So Rabbi Yochanan Chazai Bechalom, he found it in her dream. Minta Malyata Amina. He's going to say something good. The pasuk says mereshit velo kol reshit, me'aretzecha velo kol aretzecha. So he's coming to teach you that it's dafka from your land and not everywhere of your land, or from that's what he says me'aretzecha velo kol aretzecha, and mereshit velo kol reshit, which means the first parts and not the other fruits. The shakish, he comes and he says me'aretzecha. What does he do with it? He needs it from that which we learned. To Gamliel Bar Rabbi Omer, ne'mar kan eretz and ne'mar lan eretz, just like over there shevach eretz. It's a shivat aminim. So to here it's shevach eretz. It's the what is praised in Eretz Yisrael. We say Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash, Eretz Chitav. The shivat aminim. That's the praise. That's the shevach of Eretz Yisrael. Ve'idach, another one Eretz me'eretz. Ve'idach Eretz me'eretz so much. But he said, one of them it says me'artzecha, and one of the Eretz. It says, I don't like that thing. Eretz me'eretz. Right? ותניחדה שבגג שבחורבה ושבציץ ושבצבינה מביא וקורא ותניח אינו קורא. Bishma Reshakish, I understand gag is on a question. Hag begag de me'ara. Here we're talking about the gag of a me'ara, which is like a regular land, right? Veha begag de bait, and here we're talking about the roof of a house. Churba is also not a question. Here we're talking about a churba, which is avuda, which is worked, right? And here we're talking about a churba, which is not worked.
So what's the difference?
He says that a karka avuda, even if it's going to be destroyed, it's still karka avuda. So therefore, since you came and you reaped it, you plowed it, it's still martzecha. He says a churba which was not nechreshev l'nizra, it's nothing.
So you don't have to do nothing.
So you don't bring it. That's why.
But you take profit from it.
No. You're not going to do anything with it. It's just a stam. It's a ruins. It's ruins. You just leave it there. That's what he's saying. He's saying at the end of the day you don't do anything with it. So since you do, why? It's not. Yeah. Then he says kan be'atzitz nakuv ve'kan mesenu nakuv. When it says atzitz, it's also, it all depends what type of atzitz. Yeah. The sfina is also not going to be a question. Kam sfina shel etz ve'kam sfina shel cheretz. It all depends whether it's going to be a sfina of wood or a sfina of cheretz, right? Of earthenware. Pehamul bet on the top until the Mishnah says the Gemara Rabbi Yochanan Kash. That's a question. So he says Tanai. It's a machlok Tanaim. The Tanya was learned on Braita shebegag shebechurba mevi. Yeah, he says the koreh shebeatzir shebesfina eno mevi kurika. You don't bring it at all. Okay. V'kulan enam baot alam yimnuchar. Amri Yochanan mamre. Right. LeMoshe. He says. It's if you remember, he went and he said, Amrulo Yochane Mamre to Moshe Rabenu. These are Yochane, not Yochanan. Yochane and Mamre were the heads of the sorcerers in Egypt. They went and they told Moshe Rabenu, Teven ata machnis lofraim. He says, what? You're going to come and bring Dagan and Teven? What are you doing? Amar lehu, he told them, Amri inche lemata yarka shekol. He says, to a place of Yirakot, you're going to bring Yirakot, meaning that the heads of the sorcerers, they told Moshe Rabbeinu, Kilu, you're going to come in, you're going to start trying to do magic. We're experts here. So he went and he told them, I don't understand. Where am I going to bring vegetables to sell? In a vegetable market. So he says the same thing. I'm going to come in here where you guys are Keilu experts in sorcery, and I'm going to show you what sorcery really is. Kilu, that's what he comes, right? And he showed them. So that's exactly what he went and he told them.